Good day sa lahat ng mga maka-view sa video na ito. And also good evening kung napanood niyo ito sa gabi. Ang vlog nating ito na ating gagawin ay tungkol sa church and recorded history. May nakita kasi akong TikTok at maraming mga short videos na nagsasabi na noong 33 AD raw, tinayo ng ating Panginoong Hesukristo ang Iglesia Katolika. So, totoo ba yun? So, ang ginawa natin, nagkalkal tayo sa history. Ginamit natin yung co-pilot para saliksikin natin ang katotohanan. Yun kasi ang talagang kinagisnan ng marami. Kahit ako man, lumaki ako sa paniniwalang ang Catholic Church ang pinakamatandang church sa lahat. So, ang vlog na ito po ay hindi para sa mga taong sarado na ang utak na nag-iisip na wala na talagang ibang katotohanan maliban sa kanilang nalaman. So, simulan natin ang ating pagsaliksik noong unang panahon pa. And upon this rock I will build my church. The phrase, and upon this rock I will build my church, comes from the Bible, specifically from the Gospel of Matthew chapter 16 verse 18. In this passage, Jesus is speaking to Peter, one of his apostles, and says, "And I tell you that you are Peter, and on this rock I will build my church." Yun ang pinakauna talaga sa lahat. Mula sa pananalitang yun, itinayo ng ating Panginoong Hesukristo ang church na alam ng lahat na Catholic Church. Then we asked co-pilot, any recorded year in history, when did Jesus said the verse in the Bible? So the co-pilot answered the exact year when Jesus said the verse, "And upon this rock I will build my church," is not precisely recorded in historical texts. However, it is generally believed that Jesus' ministry took place around 27 to 30 AD. This particular event likely occurred within the time frame. So, ang ministeryo daw ni Hesukristo ay around 27 to 30. So, nung sinabi niya yung I will build my church, maaring nandyan sa time frame na yan. Then I asked co-pilot, what is the name of Jesus Christ Church according to Dr. Lamsa in Acts 20:28? So, ito ang answer. In George Lamsa's translation of Acts 20:28, the church is referred to as the Church of Christ, Iglesia ni Cristo po. This differs from many other translations, which is often used Church of God or Church of the Lord. Lamsa's translation is based on the Peshitta, a Syriac version of the Bible, which uses the term Christ in this verse. Acts 20:28 in Lamsa version of the Bible reads, "Take heed therefore unto yourselves and to all the flock over which the Holy Spirit has made you overseers, to feed the church of Christ, which He has purchased with His blood." Now we ask co-pilot again, how do they call the member of the Jesus Christ Church in the Bible? Ito naman ang sagot ng co-pilot. In the Bible, members of the church established by Jesus Christ are commonly referred to as Christians. This term is first mentioned in Acts chapter 11, verse 26. It says, "And when he had found him, he brought him unto Antioch. And it came to pass that a whole year they assembled themselves with the church, and taught much people, and the disciples were called Christians first in Antioch." And there's another answer from the question, how do they call the members of the Jesus Christ Church in Romans 16:16? Because there is another verse in the Bible that talks about the name of the members of the church. So in Romans 16:16, the members of Jesus Christ Church are referred to as churches of Christ. Kung sa Filipino, mga iglesia ni Kristo. The verse says, "Greet one another with a holy kiss. The churches of Christ greet you." This indicates that the early Christian communities were collectively known as churches of Christ. Pag isa ka lang, iglesia ni Kristo ka. Pag marami, mga iglesia ni Kristo. So, balikan natin yung pagtatag ng iglesia. Ang iglesia, kailangan ni Kristo ng mga tutulong sa Kanya para mangaral. So, nagtawag siya ng mga apostles. So, tinanong natin ng co-pilot, who are the apostles called by Christ to serve in the church? Ito ang sagot niya. Jesus Christ called 12 apostles to serve in the early church. These apostles were chosen during his ministry, which is generally believed to have taken around 27 to 30 AD. The 12 apostles were Peter, also called Simon, Andrew, Peter's brother, James, son of Zebedee, John, James' brother, Philip, Bartholomew or Nathaniel, Matthew or Levi, Thomas, James, son of Alphaeus, Thaddeus, Jude. Ito yung isang apostol na may pangalan ding Judas, si Jude Thaddeus. Then we have Simon the Zealot, we have Judas Iscariot, who was later replaced by Matthias after his betrayal of Jesus. These apostles played a crucial role in spreading Jesus' teachings and establishing the early Christian church. How many apostles were replaced before Jesus Christ died? We have mentioned Matthias. He replaced Judas, but his replacement occurred after Jesus' resurrection and ascension around 33 AD. Now, who are the other apostles called after the 12 apostles in the Bible? In addition to the original 12 apostles, several other individuals were referred to as apostles in the New Testament. Here are some of them. Paul, formerly Saul of Tarsus, he is perhaps the most well-known apostle outside the original 12 apostles, known for his extensive missionary work and epistles in the New Testament. We have Barnabas, we have James, the brother of Jesus. James, he is considered an apostle and was a leading figure in the Jerusalem church. We have Silas, we have Andronicus and Junia. What happened to the apostles after the death of Jesus Christ? Ito na. Kasi nung namatay si Jesus, ano ang nangyari sa church? Grabe ang persecution, grabe ang patayan sa loob ng church. Peter preached extensively and was martyred in Rome around 64 to 68 AD. crucified upside down at his request. Andrew preached in region including Greece and was crucified on an X-shaped cross around 60 to 70 AD. James, son of Zebedee, the first apostle to be martyred, executed by Herod Agrippa I around 44 AD. John preached in Asia Minor and was exiled to the island of Patmos, where he wrote the book of Revelation. He died of natural causes around 100 AD. Sa lahat ng mga apostles, si John ang pinakatagal na namatay dahil namatay siya noong 100 AD. Philip preached in regions such as Phrygia and was martyred around 80 AD. Bartholomew Nathaniel preached in various regions including India and Armenia and was martyred by being flayed and beheaded around 68 AD. Matthew or Levi preached in Ethiopia and was martyred around 60 to 70 AD. Then we have Thomas preached in India and was martyred by being speared around 72 AD. Then James, son of Alphaeus, the other James, also known as James the Less, is believed to have been martyred around 62 AD. According to the tradition, he was thrown from the pinnacle of the temple in Jerusalem and then beaten to death with a club. Then we have Jude Thaddeus, also known as Jude, is believed to have been martyred around 65 AD. Tradition holds that he was killed with an axe in the Roman province of Syria, near modern-day Beirut in Lebanon. Simon the Zealot is believed to have been martyred around 65 AD. There are various traditions about his deaths, with some accounts suggesting he was sawn in half in Persia, while others claim he was crucified. When did each of the additional apostles die? We have Paul. He is believed to have been martyred around 64 to 65 AD in Rome. Barnabas, 62 AD in Salamis, Cyprus. James, the brother of Jesus, he was martyred in 62 AD in Jerusalem. Silas is believed to have died around 50 AD. Andronicus and Julia is not clearly documented, but they were all believed to have been martyred also. Now, after the death of the last apostle, did the early church fathers change the name of the church built by Christ? So from Church of Christ, what happened? So we'll check the answer of co-pilot. After the death of the last apostles, the early church fathers did not officially change the name of the church built by Christ. The early Christian community continued to be known as the church, Iglesia, or the churches of Christ, mga iglesia ni Kristo. Because at that time, marami ng iglesia. Makikita natin sa Biblia yung iglesia sa Antioch, iglesia sa Macedonia. Yan, sila yung tinawag ng mga iglesia ni Kristo, as mentioned in the New Testament. However, Christianity spread and developed. Various names and titles begin to be used to describe different Christian communities and denominations. This process evolved. So it evolved. This is after the death of Christ and after the death of the apostles. Over several centuries, particularly as the church faced theological disputes, nung time ng mga apostles na hinirang ni Kristo, Nung time ng ating Panginoong Hesukristo, lahat clear. Ngayon, nagkakaroon na ng disputes, heresies, and the need for organizational structure. Before, mayroon ng tinatawag na deacons, deaconess, elders. Ngayon, gusto naman nila ng ibang structure. Gusto talaga nilang baguhin yung tinayong iglesia ni Kristo. By the 4th century, with the establishment of the Nicene Creed, ito pumasok ang Nicene Creed ng 4th century. In 325 AD, the term Catholic Church became more commonly used to describe the unified Christian community. So tinawag na siya officially na Catholic Church noong 4th century. Tandaan natin, yung tinayo, hindi Catholic Church, Iglesia ni Kristo. Pero pagkamatay ng apostles, pagkamatay ni Kristo, binago ang pangalan, naging Catholic Church. This term emphasized the universality and unity of the church across different regions and cultures. Yun nga ba talaga? How far is 325 AD from the death of the last apostle? So the Apostle John is traditionally believed to have died around 100 AD. The first Council of Nicaea, which took place in 325 AD, occurred approximately 225 years after the death of the last apostles. Isipin mo, 225 years, yan yung pangalan ng iglesyang tinayo ni Kristo. Palitan mo. Who first used the term Catholic to refer the church established by Christ? Sino ba ang naunang gumamit nito? The term Catholic Church was first used by Ignatius, Saint Ignatius of Antioch, in his letter to the Ismarneans, written around 110 AD. In his letter, Ignatius emphasized the unity and universality of the Christian community by referring to it as the Catholic Church. So, ang naunang gumamit nito ay si Saint Ignatius, 110 AD. How far is 110 AD from the death of the last apostle, Apostle John? It was 10 years after the death of Apostle John. So, mahabang panahon, wala nang pakialam nito ang mga apostoles, wala na si Kristo na sa langit na, binago nila ang pangalan. Tapos tandaan natin ang tawag sa mga members ng Iglesia ni Kristo during the 1st century is Iglesia ni Kristo. Now, what is the official name of members of the Catholic Church when it was officially approved and by what council? Isipin mo ang church, inaaproba ng isang council. Tingnan natin sa ilang minuto pa lang, malalaman natin anong council yun. The official name for members of the Catholic Church is simply Catholics. Mula sa pangalang sa mga miyembro na tinatawag na Iglesia ni Kristo, ngayon Catholics na sila. This name has been in use since the early days of the Church. The term Catholic means universal and was first used and described the Church by Saint Ignatius of Antioch around the end of the 1st century. Yung matapos ang 1st century, Catholic na. Kasi yung 1st century, yun na yung Iglesia ni Kristo, ang mga member, mga Iglesia ni Kristo. The name Catholic Church was officially recognized and used in the documents of the First Council of Nicaea in 325 AD. So, nakita nyo ang pagpasok ng Catholic Church. Sa 2nd century na siya. Sa 1st century, church run by the apostles. Then, the 2nd century, run by the early church fathers, mga bishop. This council was the first ecumenical council of the church and played a significant role in defining key aspects of Christian doctrine. Isipin mo, ang mag-define ng isang Christian doctrines na ngayon ay ang Council of Nicaea. What is the Council of Nicaea? Who presided it and funded it, and for what purpose? The co-pilot answered, the First Council of Nicaea was the first ecumenical council of the Christian Church, held in 325 AD in Nicaea, modern-day Iznik sa Turkey. It was convened by Emperor Constantine. Emperor ang nag-convene, hindi religious people. Who also presided over the opening session and took part in the discussions. Siya ang nag-preside sa opening sessions. Kasama din siya sa discussions. The council was primarily funded by Constantine himself. Siya rin ang nagbayad para sa pagkain, pamasahin ng mga tao at sa anumang gastusin. The main purpose of the Council of Nicaea was to address the Arian controversy, which questioned the divinity of Jesus Christ. Sa panahon ng mga apostoles, walang question regarding sa divinity. Walang question about who is Jesus Christ. Clear lahat. Pagdating sa panahon ng 2nd century, nagkagulo-gulo ang lahat. Nagkaroon ng Arian controversy. Then the council aimed to achieve a consensus in the church on this matter. Gusto ng emperor na magkasundo sila sa bagay na ito. So, isang bagay na nandoon na, nakasulat na sa Biblia, dinidiscuss pa, binago pa. One of its significant outcomes was the formulation of the Nicene Creed, which affirmed the belief in the divinity of Christ. So sa Council of Nicaea, naging Diyos si Kristo dahil pinagbuto-butuhan siya ng mga taong umaten sa konsilyo na yon. Ang hindi bumoto sa kanya, nagtago dahil alam niyo na kung anong gagawin sa kanya. Next is Emperor Constantine, a Christian, during the 325 AD Council of Nicaea. The co-pilot answered, yes, Emperor Constantine was a Christian. During the time of the First Council of Nicaea in 325 AD, he converted to Christianity in 312 AD after his victory at the Battle of Milvian Bridge. Although his conversion is widely accepted, there is some debate among historians about the depth of his faith and whether his conversion was driven by political motives. Constantine's support for Christianity was significant as he played a crucial role in its spread and the establishment of Christian practices within the Roman Empire. So, supporter siya ng church. Siya ang nagbibigay ng pondo. He also continued to support and fund the church throughout his reign. In effect, what pagan Rome practices was adopted by the church during the time of Emperor Constantine. So ito ang sagot ng co-pilot. During the time of Emperor Constantine, several practices from pagan Rome were adopted by the early Christian church. Here are a few notable examples. Marami kasi yan, marami. Pero ito lang muna ang talakayin natin na binigay ng co-pilot. Una, festivals and holidays. Many pagan festivals were reinterpreted and incorporated into the Christian calendar. For instance, the Roman festival of Saturnalia, which celebrated the winter solstice, influenced the timing and some customs of Christmas. So itong Saturnalia, umikot, naging Christmas. Architecture and art. Early Christian churches often adopted the basilical layout, which was originally used for Roman public buildings and pagan temples. Additionally, Christian art and iconography borrowed style and motifs from Roman and Greek traditions, rituals, and symbols. Some pagan rituals and symbols were integrated into Christian practices. Kita mo, ang pagan rituals and practices inintegrate sa Christian worship and practices, which is kung buhay ang apostles, hindi mangyayari yun. Kung buhay si Kristo, hindi rin mangyayari yun. For example, the use of incense, the use of candles, and certain ceremonial garments in Christian worship has roots in Roman pagan rituals. Titles and hierarchies. The organizational structure of the church, iba yung organizational structure sa time ni Jesus, iba rin sa time ng Catholic Church, including titles like Pontifex Maximus, a title used by Roman high priest, was influenced by the hierarchical system of Roman religion and governance. These adaptations helped ease the transition from paganism to Christianity for many Romans, making the new religion more familiar and acceptable. Ganun ba yun? Yung paganism, pinasok sa Christianity. Nanatili pa ba yung Christianity o na kinain na siya ng paganism? So yung mga practices na makikita ninyo na ginagawa ng church came from pagan Rome. Next, why was the church in Jerusalem transferred to Rome? The transfer of the church central authority from Jerusalem to Rome was influenced by several factors. Primarily, the destruction of Jerusalem. Kaya para nilipat yung central authority o yung office ng church sa Jerusalem papunta sa Rome dahil nasira pala ang Jerusalem. Sinong nagsira ng Jerusalem? In 70 AD by the Romans. Sila din ang nagsira. This event led to significant persecutions and dispersions of Christians, making it difficult for the church to maintain its base in Jerusalem. Rome, being the heart of the Roman Empire, offered a more stable and influential location for the church to grow and spread its teachings. Yun ang nangyari. Additionally, Saint Peter and Saint Paul were martyred in Rome. Sino kaya ang nagpatay sa kanila sa Rome? And their presence and leadership there helped establish Rome as a central hub for Christianity. Napagbintangan pa itong dalawa. Okay. Hanggang doon lang yung ating tanong, question and answer sa co-pilot. So kung babalikan natin mula sa simula, nagtayo si Jesus Christ ng church, tinawag niyang Iglesia ni Kristo dahil sa kanya yun ang binili niya ng kanyang mahalagang dugo. Ang mga miyembro nito ay tinatawag na Iglesia ni Kristo. Mga Iglesia ni Kristo sila. Pero nang mamatay ang mga apostles, una namatay si Kristo, tapos namatay ang mga apostoles, 10 years lang ang nakaraan. Tinawag ni Ignatius of Antioch ang Iglesia ni Kristo na Catholic Church. Pagdating ng 225 years ang nakalipas, inapprove ito na isang konsilyo na pinangunahan ni Emperor Constantine. Emperor ang nanguna. Hindi siya mga church people. Hindi siya church official. Emperor. Pinakonvene niya ang council. Binayaran niya ang gastos sa council. At sa council din doon, niresolve niya ang kaguluhan sa imperyo. Kasi nagkagulo sila kay Kristo. Sabi ng ibang church fathers, si Kristo ay tao na Diyos. Ang iba naman, si Kristo ay Diyos. Ang iba naman, si Kristo ay tao. Sa Biblia, nakasulat na kung sino si Kristo. Nakasulat na rin kung sino ang Diyos na siyang tinuturo ng ating Panginoong Hesukristo. Pero pagdating ng 2nd century, wala sa kanilang isipan yun, wala sa kanilang puso, dahil iba ang gusto nilang mangyari. So sa Council of Nicaea, inaprobahan ang pagka-Diyos ni Kristo. Ganun ba yun? Council ang mag-aproba ng Diyos? Para kang gumawa ng sarili mong Diyos. Bakit hindi mo pakinggan ang tinuro ni Kristo sa Biblia? Ang sinabi ng mga apostoles sa Biblia? Ang sinabi ng mga propeta noon sa Biblia kung sino ang tunay na Diyos? Yan ang pangyayari na naitala sa history na binigay ng co-pilot sa atin. So, ang 33 AD na sinasabi nila na lumabas ang tunay na iglesia, hindi po Catholic Church ang lumabas sa panahon na yon. Dahil ang Catholic Church ay lumabas sa 2nd century na. Lumabas ito nang mamatay na ang ating Panginoong Hesukristo, namatay na ang mga apostoles. Lumabas siya at inapprove ng isang konsilyo na ito na ang magiging pangalan ng church na ito. Church which was established by our Lord Jesus Christ. Then, pinalitan ang pangalan, pinasok ang mga aral na wala naman sa aral ng unang iglesia. Isang malaking aral ito sa lahat ng nagsasabi na noong 33 AD ay itinayo ng ating Panginoong Hesukristo ang Catholic Church. So, until next vlog, magkikita-kita tayo, talakayin natin, pag-usapan natin ano yung mga pagan practices, pagan doctrines wala sa unang iglesia pero pinasok sa loob ng iglesia. Yun ang dahilan ng pagtalikod ng tunay na iglesia. Pag-usapan din natin sa susunod na vlog, ano ang nangyari sa iglesia ni Kristo? Tuluyan na ba itong nawala? So, until next time, magandang araw po sa inyo. If you like this video, please click like and then you subscribe. If you don't like, wag na kayo mag-like kung ayaw ninyo. Just write your comments kung anong masabi ninyo, and see you all sa next video natin.